and welcome to the Wayward Skein podcast. This is episode 2. My name is Lynn, and I'd like to welcome you back. And if this is your first time checking us out, well, that's probably good because the last one kind of sucked. So I've decided to sort of branch out a little bit and do a solo podcast on the weeks where we don't record episodes of the Two Tangled Skeins podcast, which is the podcast I do with my friend Sue. And so Sue wasn't feeling very well yesterday, and I was out for most of today, so we didn't get a chance to record this weekend. So here we go, episode 2. I actually got some knitting done this week, quite a bit of knitting. If you'll remember, last week my harvest sweater was a rectangular strip of garter stitch. So I have made some progress. It's curling a little bit, and I'm trying to show you what the actual sweater looks like. So the neckline, this is the tab that I had last week, was this rectangular piece here. I picked up stitches along the edge in the back, which is how I got this lovely little row of knit stitches that sort of sticks out a little bit. And then I picked up stitches along the provisional cast on edge, which was a crochet provisional cast on. And I kept knitting, and you can't even see, there's no seams, nothing. So I'm really happy with how it's coming out. I separated for the sleeves, and I've knit a good 3.5 inches beyond where I separated for the sleeves. Sorry, my knots are coming done, but that's not a big deal. I just knotted them so that they wouldn't come apart while I was traveling, because I brought this to my mom's and I've brought it to work. And so anyway, I put the sleeve stitches on waste yarn. I used, this is Red Heart Super Saver because it doesn't fray and it doesn't split very much. So I figured that would be a good smooth yarn to pass it through. And I've knit another 3.5 inches beyond beyond the bottom of the sleeves. I have 1.5 inches left before I can start the bottom cuff. So here it is. It's about, I'd say it's about 2/3 done at this point. Well, maybe half done because I still have to knit the sleeves as well. So this is the Harvest Sweater by Tin Can Knits. Here's the picture. It comes, and as with all Tin Can Knits patterns, it goes from a 0 to 6 month all the way to a 4XL adult, which is fantastic. I love their patterns for that. This particular pattern for the size I'm making requires about 350 yards worth of worsted weight yarn. And this is part of their simple collection, as I mentioned last week. They have 8 free patterns, all sized from baby to 4XL. With clear tutorials, they really spell out how to do things. One of the things I liked best was that when you're picking up the stitches along the rectangle back here, you have, I don't remember how many rows it is, but they tell you how many stitches they want you to pick up, and then they tell you how to pick them up. So pick up 2 stitches for every 3 that are on the edge. So, and the garter ridge is knit, and it's a free pattern, so I'm not giving anything away, with 2 knit stitches at the end. So on the right side, you're knitting 10 across. On the wrong side, you're purling 2 and then knitting the rest. So it gives you this nice defined garter ridge on the edge with these smooth stitches that you can pick up. So it's not a typical garter edge like this, where you've got those bumps. It's a very, very smooth edge. It's as if you've slipped the stitches. So I'm really enjoying knitting this. I love the pooling on the back. It's fantastic. I think they're going to love it. So I'm really enjoying what the colors are doing with the pooling. And I'm starting to get a little bit of pink down at the bottom again. So for this sweater, I am using a skein and probably a little bit of this gorgeous Lorna's Laces Haymarket, which is their BFL, 100% BFL worsted. It's not superwash, it will felt. I'm trying to felt it a bit as I knit, but I will felt it a little bit before I give it to them. And it is in the lookbook colorway. 2 gorgeous skeins of this stuff. Look at these colors. I'm adoring what they're doing knitting up. So that's what it looks like knit up. You can't really tell the blue very much. My camera's not very good, so the blue isn't showing up as much. The purple and the yellows and the pinks are, but the blue isn't really. So these are 2 skeins that Sue had received in a yarn club, and she didn't particularly like the color, so I bought them from her, and I am loving them. And more importantly, I think that the people that I'm knitting this baby sweater for are going to love them. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my pen here. So if you're a beginner, you want to learn how to make sweaters, there are a whole bunch of different ones that the Tin Can Knits Simple Collection. The other one is the flax that I really like. I don't remember the names of the other 6 patterns, but the flax is a pullover. But I've made flax for adults. I've made them for little babies. I've made them for older kids. They're a fantastic sweater. This one is really, really easy. Really easy. And you won't have any trouble. If you know how to knit and purl, you'll be able to figure this out. And I love, they have a lot of pictures. There's a lot of schematics, like how to measure and what you're doing. This is the little kid one. It's adorable. So I'm very much looking forward to finishing this. And I have been able to knit. I don't overdo it. I do about 4 to 8 rows at a time. The other night I actually managed 10 rows on a knit night, and then a VKN, and then I put it away. I didn't dare continue because I didn't want to screw up being able to knit. So the physio is definitely helping because I have been able to knit without it hurting me too much. So I'm very happy about that. So I'm going to keep plugging away on this, and hopefully next week I will have the body finished to show you. It keeps rolling up because, of course, it's stockinette. There's a garter, a big garter cuff at the bottom that's like an inch or 2. So that'll keep it from rolling, but it's also going to need a good blocking. So I've been working on that. Rob picked me up these gorgeous Carbons fixed DPNs that I love. Love, love, love. So we bought those at Fiddlehead Yarns in Kenosha, Wisconsin last week. I was down in Chicago for his son's graduation, and you can see a picture of the graduation. Well, you can see a picture of him with his son in his graduate outfit, cap and gown. I don't know. I've never been to a graduation before, so that's not true. I went to my friend Sarah's a couple of years ago, but so you can see a picture of that on the blog. The blog is at www.thewaywardskein.com. My mom was like, I can't find your blog anymore. I had to bookmark it for her. So, and that is all living in this gorgeous bag that I got from Little Creek Designs, who is my friend Selma. So if you're looking for bags, I don't think she has anything in the shop right now, but she will definitely have something soon. I know she's been working on stuff. So that is the only knitting I've done. I haven't picked up anything else because I want to finish this. I want to be able to finish it. The last baby sweater I started, I got about halfway through and then my shoulder started acting up. So I want to get this done before I work on anything else. Rob's sock is still living in my purse, but I'm going to wait to work on it until I'm finished with the baby sweater, and he's okay with that. He's perfectly fine with that. So I'm just going to put this away. And I mainly only work on this at home because I love... Am I going to take everything apart? Yeah, I am. My yarn bowl is behind my computer right now, so I can't exactly get it out without knocking the lamp over and all that fun stuff. So I'll leave it there. I'll show it to you some other time. So that's my knitting. That's all I've done. I will confess that most of this week has been spent reading. I showed you guys last week that I had acquired the entire series of A Wrinkle in Time by Madeline, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this in English. Langle? It's Langue in French, but I don't know how you would say it in English. No idea. So I've already passed on A Wrinkle in Time. So this is books 2 and 3. I'm almost done book 3 and ready to move on to number 4, which is right there. So, oh, actually Wrinkle in Time is right there too. So, but my ex-husband is going to be getting the series when I'm done with it because he wants to reread it. And he doesn't actually, I don't think he has hard copies of it, obviously, because he wants to borrow them. So I read through A Wrinkle in Time in about 2 days. I had 2 flights in either direction for Chicago, so I think I finished the first book. I started it right after I recorded my podcast last week because I was reading an Alice Hoffman book last week, I don't remember the title of now. But it was a very difficult read, and I finished it about 5 minutes after I recorded my podcast last week, which was Saturday. Today is Sunday. And immediately picked up A Wrinkle in Time. And I read through it. I think I finished it on the first plane. So I then picked up this one. Finished that the day after I flew home. And then this one I've been reading this week. I only read on the bus, mainly. But because I don't really have a lot of reading time the rest of the time. But I've actually been reading this in bed at night before I go to sleep. So I'm really, really, really enjoying this series. It is fantastic. If you haven't read it, if you like fantasy in any form, if you like adventure stories, whatever, this is a great series. And it's billed as YA, young adult stuff, like for teenagers and stuff. But trust me, you will not be disappointed if you read this. And the reason I'm reading the whole series is because I want to see the movie really badly. But I wanted to read the books first. So I get the feeling I'm going to be done before next weekend. So I may go see the movie next weekend. So that's what I've been reading. I went through it. A Wrinkle in Time, A Wind in the Door, and I'm mostly through A Swiftly Tilting Planet all in 1 week. Because I'm kind of obsessed. This is a lot less than I used to read before I went back to school. I think it was 2010 I started taking university classes. And I just didn't have time to read anymore. And when I burnt out, I had a burnout in 2015. And basically I was taking a college class for work. I was taking a university class, and I was working a fairly demanding job, and all of it all at once, I completely burnt out. And I never started reading again. So this, I guess it was about 2-3 months ago, I just picked up a book and I was like, you know what? I miss reading. And I just blew through that book in like 2 days. And then I blew through the next one. So I've been going through my bookshelf. I have a lot of books that I have never read by authors I'm not familiar with. So these are the ones that I'm trying to get read now so that I can decide whether I want to continue reading that author or whether I want to get rid of those books. We have a little free library across the road, those little boxes on a, it looks like a little mailbox, but it's like this square box that people put books in. And so we have one of those across the street. So sometimes when I'm done with the book, I'll bring it over there. But we also have a system at work where people bring books and leave them in the kitchen, and you can take a book whenever you want. And so I've gotten rid of a lot of them that way as well. So I'm very, very excited to see the movie. I really, really hope it does justice to the book. I know they changed the race for the main characters. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I cannot wait to see this. I'm very excited about it because I think there's been a lot of underrepresentation of anybody other than white people, especially in fantasy and sci-fi movies. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'll try not to get too political in this podcast. So my tea today, which is over here, it's too hot right now because I just made it. So my tea today is this lovely stuff I bought in Woodstock, New York. It's called Better Than Sex. It's close. It's pretty good tea. It's a vanilla rooibos with dark Belgian chocolate and peppermint. And it is amazing. I bought it at the tea shop. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's the only tea shop in Woodstock, New York. It's right downtown. And I bought it at Rhinebeck 2 years ago. Not this past Rhinebeck, but the Rhinebeck before. We tried to go back to the tea shop this year, and we just missed it. They had just closed. So I actually still have about half of this left because this is my specialty. And I hoard it jealously. And it smells amazing. And there are actually petals in here. I'm going to see if I can... boo. They don't have all the ingredients on it. Yes, they do. Nope. No, they don't. Oh, they have instructions on how to make iced tea on the bottom. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know about that. I hadn't read the bottom. I love that it's a Canadian container, though. But anyway, so yes, this is my tea today, and it is pretty darn delicious. It is... Canadians will understand what I mean when I say the Laura Secord French chocolate candy bars. Tea form. Very good. So that's my tea. If you're ever in Woodstock, well, if you're going to be a Rhinebeck, pop over to Woodstock. It's like half an hour away. Buy some tea. So that's all there is for tea. I have been watching, and I forgot to mention this last week, I've been watching it over the last several months because there are 20 seasons, and who does that? I've been watching Midsummer Murders. I picked it up because I really like British TV. I like British comedies. I like British detective shows. I like British mysteries. I was looking for something new to watch, and a bunch of my friends were watching Midsummer Murders. And they were like, oh, yeah, you should really watch this. Oh, yeah. I was completely hooked, like, right off the bat. I really enjoyed it. I miss the original sergeant that he had, because it's about DCI Barnaby in the Coston CID, I think. It's in Midsummer. Anyway, I don't know where Midsummer is, but I keep meaning to look at a map, and I haven't done it yet. So anyway, I missed the first sergeant that he worked with, but he left after, I think, 5 seasons? British TV doesn't really work the way American TV does. Obviously, those of you who live in Britain know that. Or those of you who watch British TV will understand that. They work in series. So you have series 1, which could be 2 episodes. It could be 20 episodes. Well, it's rarely 20 episodes. But I have watching each episode of Midsummer Murders is a commitment, because each episode is between an hour and 10 minutes and an hour and a half long without commercials. Like they don't do ads. Well, I don't know if they do, because I've never actually watched dramatic TV in Britain, but I've watched sports games. Like I've watched cricket and football and stuff. And there's adverts in the middle of that, but I don't know if there are ads in the... Shush you. The cat would like to say hello. So would you really like to say hello? All right, fine. Come here. This would be the kitty. She likes to come and say hello when I'm talking to people. She's not interested in me the rest of the time, but when I'm talking to people, oh yes, she needs to come up and have her say. So this is Lynx. George is over there somewhere glaring at us because she's not a people cat, right? Would you like to get down now? Yeah, I think you would. Off you go. She always wants to come up, but she never wants to stay. So now I'm covered in cat. So I've been very much enjoying Midsummer Murders. It stars John Nettles and a whole bunch of... You'll see just about every British actor you've ever heard of over the course of this season, this TV show. I'm currently on series 12. There are 8 more to go. I don't know if it's still recording. I haven't had the heart to look. Or if it's a series that's over and done with. I'm really hoping it's still recording because I'm really enjoying it. And so, if you have a chance, check it out. A lot of my friends are watching it right now and very much enjoying it. And this is going to be another really short episode. I don't think I really will have episodes going over 30 minutes because it's just me and I'm just sitting here babbling. So they'll probably be short. I just wanted to show off something that I was lucky enough to get today. I was in my mother's garden, and my mother has rhubarb. Well, she has one large rhubarb patch in the garden. And I got to harvest twice this actually today. This is about 2 pounds. So I harvested almost 5 pounds, and I sent my brother and his wife home with half. And this is lovely. It's going to make some delicious jam. I haven't decided what the other fruit will be yet. It'll depend on what's on sale at the grocery store when I go on Tuesday. It's not quite strawberry season here yet. So last week when I harvested Rob's rhubarb patch, I put it together with some black cherries that I'm going to make jam with the next time I go. We ran out of time. It's all in the freezer. It's fine. So I ran out of time. I'm going to make rhubarb cherry jam next time I go, which is at the end of June. This batch here Maybe strawberry, maybe blueberry. Depends what's on sale. We'll see. Sorry, I just knocked the whole desk. So I'm very much looking, and I've got some chives in here too that I'm going to have to separate out before I go to bed, because otherwise the rhubarb will be stinky. So I just wanted to show that off because, oh, I love rhubarb so much. 2 weeks ago, the week before I left to Rob's house, I harvested a comparable amount. And it was just to get rid of the stalks that were more than an inch across. Because it had gone crazy. As soon as the heat hit, the rhubarb just went whoo. And when I got there 2 weeks ago, there were 4 seed heads on it. So I had to cut down the seed heads all the way to the ground. And I harvested everything else that was really big, knowing that I was going to be back in 2 weeks to harvest the rest. So I harvested the rest today. I have a tendency to just cut the patch down to just the new leaves that are popping up. I do this because that way I usually get 4 or 5 good harvests over the summer, as opposed to just going out and picking a few when I want them. This way we get enough to do what we want with. Like, this will probably be a cake or a pie and some jam. And everybody gets some who wants some. I mean, my brother usually goes home with a bunch, and we give some to the neighbor across the street. We give some to the neighbor out back. Some of my friends get some as well. So I'm looking forward to making some delicious jam with that one. So that's about all I have for this week. I'm trying to get a little more organized in how I put different bits and pieces together. I'm not going to call anything a segment because I'm not here long enough for a segment of anything. But I just wanted to, pop in and say, hey, how was your week? And my week was awesome. So that's about it. And I will see you all the next time I record. Bye.